Another day, another week, another race with poor attendance. Just disappointing. Stream's up and running. That's not disappointing, that's good. Audio is working as it should. Oh good, a Twitch ad. I love Twitch ads, they're great. Go away. Alrighty folks, hello everyone, and welcome to round 10 of the Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Everingham, your commentator for this event, and tonight we'll be racing at the Albert Park Street Circuit for the Australian Grand Prix. Constructed in 1996 within the city of Melbourne to serve as a replacement for the Adelaide Street Circuit, Albert Park has become one of the traditional opening rounds in the modern Formula One World Championship. It was redesigned in 2021 into its current 5.28 kilometre 14-turn layout, with the hope to try and increase the amount of high-speed side-by-side racing. To further help with this, the circuit has 3 DRS zones that lead into the prime and realistically only overtaking spots of Turn 1, Turn 3 and Turn 11. For the rest of the circuit, the drivers will have to deal with some of the most difficult corners on the calendar. Turns 2, 4, 7 and 14 all have tricky traction zones within them, thanks to nasty curbs throughout those corners. In other areas of the racetrack, such as the high-speed right-handers of turns 5 and 6, as well as the infamous and incredibly fast corners of turns 9 and 10, they will be major hotspots for accidents during both qualifying and in the race. Now, before we focus on qualifying here, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Saudi Arabia. 2 incident reports, and boy are they doozies. First of which, we have an incident from the sprint race involving Destiel and Mr. GeForce Ford that we caught the back end of. We saw Destiel spinning out at turn 1. It was indeed because of a collision, and the result from that is a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point to GeForce Ford. And now comes the second one, an incident that we did see pretty much all of at the final corner, an incident between T-Mac and Darren 11. The verdict from the stewards was a 5-second time penalty to Darren because he didn't leave enough space on the outside of the corner for T-Mac to safely negotiate the final corner. But on top of that, T-Mac was also given a 5-second time penalty for causing more carnage after the incident. With both drivers getting time penalties for that main race, neither driver moves position. They both stay in P9 and P10 respectively. In the sprint though, GeForce Ford would move. He would go from P2 to P3 in the final results. In the Drivers' Championship, it's Big Al who's leading the way on 183 points. Seb in the Red Bull is P2 on 132 points. 51 behind Big Al, our championship leader. It's now a huge margin between P1 and 2 in the standings. P3 is now being occupied by GeForce Ford on 116 points, followed by GeForce Leo on 114. Spicy is P5 on 110, followed by Destiel on 96. Ferrari Pro, the man on screen, is 7th on 83, followed by Plebs on 74, GeForce Crichton on 68, and GeForce Wogboy rounds out the top 10 on 64 points. In the Constructors, Red Bull are leading the way on 246. Alfa Romeo are closing in though. They had a huge round last week in Jeddah. They are now 33 points behind. They're on 213. And not too far behind them is Ferrari on 199. McLaren are P4 on 140. Rounding out the top 5 is Mercedes on 132. Alpine are P6 on 121, followed by Haas on 116, Aston Martin on 93, AlphaTauri on 88, and at the bottom of the standings is Williams on 46 points. Nice to see you, ACW, in the chat. Hopefully a few more people are able to join and make this a bit more interesting for me. It's not a great attendance. Again, attendance has been dwindling somewhat. We've got 13 cars, but as Pacific Elite proved, 13 cars is more than enough for an entertaining race. That's exactly what we got for Pacific Elite. The race was completely bonkers, especially the second half of it. So maybe we'll get to see that kind of action once again, this time in Pacific Tier 1. Bit of traffic for F1 Ferrari Pro to deal with. He gets by a McLaren that might be Mash Jr., that might be Spicy. I'm not 110% certain. But Ferrari Pro will set the first benchmark time, 1 minute 17.694. Alrighto, Mr. ACW, you're going to make a one-off, eh? At France. Well, I hope to see you there. That should be a lot of fun at Circuit Paul Ricard. Spicy has gone P2, so he was on a flying lap. Mr. Luke here will cross the line to set a 17.640. He's just pit pole position away from Ferrari Pro. Darren 11, it was part of that incident I mentioned during the introduction. He's out on track on a flying lap, making his way through the final sector around turn 11, one of the many redesigned parts of the most modern version of this racetrack. It's a really sharp corner. It provides a much better overtaking opportunity than the previous iteration of that corner. Around the final turn, turn 14, one of the trickiest corners to get right, and up towards the line. Darren 11 will set a 19 flat on a set of medium tyres. Nice to see you in the chat, KD, as well. Good to see you. Bait pulling off to the side. Pole prediction, a 16.6 from ACW. That is a quick lap time. Well, Fordy's not going to do a quick lap time. He's invalidated his first run. He's on the medium tyre, so he's going to dawdle about on the mediums for a few runs, and then he'll have one proper crack, or maybe several proper cracks at a flying lap later on in the session. And Mash Jr. appears to be getting ready for another flying lap attempt. Tell you what, we're going to ride on board with the reserve driver. Give you a tour of this 5.28 kilometre, 14-turn racetrack. Down the main straightaway into turn 1. On the brakes, down to 5th gear. Clipping the first apex, making his way through turn 2 and into the second DRS zone, up towards the right-hander of turn 3. Braking just after the 100-metre board. Down to 4th gear, clipping the apex. Exiting in 4th, keeping it in 4th. Short shifting to 5th at the apex of turn 4, through the notorious right-hander of turn 5, up to the equally notorious right-hander of turn 6, then the left of 7, gets through it pretty tidily, and around the long right-hander of turn 8. Foot to the floor here through this middle part of the racetrack. We'll head up towards the middle sector split and up towards the most famous part of the racetrack, turns 9 and 10. Hard on the brakes, down to 6th gear, back on the accelerator, cutting a lot of turn 10. You'll open DRS and head down towards turn 11. You'll get on the brakes just before the 50 board, down to 4th gear, clipping the apex, using a healthy amount of curve on the exit, up towards turn 12, down to 5th gear, keeping it 5th on the exit, up to 6th, then bringing it down to 3rd, missing the apex by a fair chunk, and he decides to bail on the lap. That's a fair enough call. It wasn't a particularly great end to that flying lap. Plevs, no troubles whatsoever. He's going to complete this flying lap as he heads down the main straightaway, crosses the line. 1 minute 17.701. Currently 600ths off pole position, which is still Plevs' teammate, Cy Luke. Big Al, he'll jump to the top of the table now. A 1 minute 16.987. He clears Cy Luke by just under 0.7 of a second. Ford has bailed on another flying lap. GeForce Leo making his way through, about to begin a flying lap attempt as he makes his way through the final part of the lap. Around the final corner, it's an incredibly tricky corner to get right. It's one of my least favourite corners on the whole schedule. It's so tricky to get it absolutely spot on. You don't want to be too eager on the accelerator through there. Oh, for that reason, that's a perfect demonstration from Leo, not at the right part of the circuit, but it's the same effect. He's crabbing his way out of turn 2. But that's the exact reason why you don't want to be too eager on the accelerator. The back just lights up. The rear tyres just light up and you spin. It's the same thing at the final corner. Destiel, who has demonstrated plenty of pace in previous races, is on a flying lap attempt heading up towards turns 9 and 10. On the brakes, down to 7th gear, chucking it through, using plenty of curb, carrying a ton of speed as he heads down towards turn 11. On the brakes, down to 4th gear, back on the accelerator, nice and tidy on the exit there, using the appropriate amount of throttle all the way around the corner as he heads into the final part of the lap, turns 13 and 14. This has looked like a mighty fine final part of the lap. He's carried a lot of speed, utilised the full width of the circuit. Oh, and he jumps to the top as well. 1 minute 16.911 on his first flying lap attempt, or completed flying lap attempt. Bate on a flying lap. One of 4 drivers yet to set a lap time. Wogboy has invalidated. He's about to have another go. He makes his way around the final corner, turn 14, and back onto the main straightaway with DRS wide open. He'll head up towards the line to set a 17.643 P4 for Bate on the board. Wogboy into turn 1. He's not using any batteries, so I'm guessing he's trying to dump as much fuel as possible for a more optimal flying lap attempt. That'll be my guess. But I don't understand why he's pushing so hard on those tyres, and if he's not going to use any battery, he's just invalidated them, so that's interesting. I wouldn't try and push so hard on those soft tyres. If I was trying to dump fuel, I would try and save the tyres as much as possible, ready for the proper flying lap attempt. Mr. Ford here is about to begin one. Ferrari Pro is in the middle of one. He's down to the first sector by 1 second. Around the final corner and down the main straightaway, defending drivers champion will begin another flying lap attempt, this time on the soft compound tyre. Into turn 1, down to 5th gear, chucking it through, using the full width of the curb on the inside of turn 2 there, carrying as much speed as possible. Down into turn 3, down to 4th gear, not bothering to use 3rd. Very tidy run. Around turn 4, short shifting up to 5th. Around turn 5, Leo gets well out of the way. That's really well done. Completing the first sector, 26.6 to the first sector. Through turn 7 and around the long right of turn 8. Foot to the floor here. What kind of top speed will we see from the Ferrari as we head up towards turn 9? Top speed 316 kilometers an hour indicated. Exiting turn 10. Oh, using too much curb, I'm afraid, on the exit there. He understeered a little bit wide. The car got unsettled when he rode over the curb as well. It's an invalidation. This lap will not count, but he does appear to still be pushing here. Into the final 2 corners. Will he complete this lap or will he bail? Now he's going to complete it. He's going to give himself a reference, give us a reference as well. What kind of lap time will Ford set? 1 minute 17 dead. That would put him P3, overtaking his teammate. G-Force Leo about to begin a flying lap down the main straight. Crosses the line to begin the lap now, heads into turn 1. On the brakes, down to 5th gear. Pretty tidy run through the first 2 corners this time around from Leo. No spins this time. Down into turn number 3. Up towards turn 4. Does he short shift? No, he keeps it in 4th. Uses plenty of curb on the exit. Around turn 5. Absolutely flat through the right-hander. 26.6 to the first sector. Similar sector we saw from G-Force Ford. Meanwhile, Destiel getting out of the way of Big Al, who's invalidated this flying lap. Will he go back into the pits? He shall. Go back to Mr. Leo. Into the middle sector S here. Chucking it through. Ludicrous speed through those 2 corners. Up towards turn 11. Entry speed 319 kilometers an hour. Apex speed 124. Shedding off nearly 200 kilometers an hour into turn 11. Around turn 13, up towards turn 14. Oh, a bit of a wiggle that will cost him time. Not just through the corner, but also down the main straightaway. He will set a 17 flat. That's P3 for Leo. Very similar time compared to G-Force Ford. Destiel is up by 11 thousandths to the first sector. He's found time. What kind of top speed will we see here from the Haas driver? 315, 316 indicated, 317, 318 I saw there. Chucking it through in 7th, running wide onto the gravel. Controlled the car well. Seems the Haas is pretty good at rallycross. Or at least Destiel's pretty good at driving on the gravel himself. Bate is even to the first sector. You can tell from the top right of screen that plus and minus sign. He is dead even to the first sector. Up towards the middle sector split. Has the AlphaTauri driver found any time? He has 15 thousandths to the middle sector. Oh, loses control and spins into the wall. Oh, dearie me, it really does demonstrate how difficult that corner is. It is so easy to get it wrong. Darren 11 is going to attempt a flying lap. Currently P10 with an 18.7, making its way through the opening chicane up towards turn 3. DRS open, shifting it into top gear. He'll get on the brakes hard, bring it down to third. Short shifts up to fourth. That's the first time I've seen that. Seen a lot of drivers just carry fourth gear around turn 3. Round turn 5, up towards the first sector split. Clock says for Darren 11, he's up by a fair chunk. He has found 7 1/4 tenths, and he's thrown it away at turn 7. Cutting too much of the racetrack, he's invalidated the lap. He won't be too happy with that. Won't be too happy at all. Ooh, Mash almost threw it into the barrier. Gee whiz, Mash. I know your tyres are cold, but yeah, you don't want to throw it into the barrier. Keep it tidy. With just over 3 minutes left in qualifying, Mash is getting ready for his final flying lap attempt. Hello, Banana. What is it that you want? I notice you're in chat. You should be racing. Have you crashed, Banana? Is that why you're in chat? Or are you bored and you're in my chat and you want to talk to somebody? Because you're more than welcome to do that. I just advise you to concentrate enough so then you don't crash in your race. If you haven't crashed already, of course. Got a couple of other drivers out on track now. Mr. Luke and Mr. Ferrari Pro are out on track, getting ready for their final runs. Not too much action going on in pit lane. Looking down at the mini-map, everyone's pretty stagnant right now, trying to let the clock wind down as much as possible. Mash Jr., meanwhile, getting ready for his final run. With 2.5 minutes left in qualifying, he heads into turn 1, down to 5th gear. Oh, could have afforded to use a bit more curb there at turn 1, but he got through the section nice and squeaky clean. Down into turn 3, down to 4th gear, back on the accelerator as he heads around turn 4, short shifting up to 5th gear, using plenty of curb as he heads around turn 5, up towards the first sector split. Clock says for the reserve driver, he's up, you know, by a little bit, by 5.5 seconds, as he makes his way around turn 8. Now through this flat out part of the lap, he'll be looking to try and find even more time. Yeah, Mr. Ford is still at the bottom of the table, ACW. Yet to set a time. Mash is now up by 6.5 seconds as he makes his way out of turn 10, keeping the car just within the yellow lines. Into turn 11, on the brakes hard, down to 3rd gear. Tidy run out of turn 11. Through turn 12 now. Don't want to run too wide here. He doesn't as he goes around the penultimate corner, turn 13. Now the final corner, turn 14, back onto the main straightaway, losing the back end a little, but he gets through the corner just fine. It's a 1 minute, 17.232, that's P5, nice recovery for the McLaren reserve driver. 40 getting ready for his final run, so is Destiel, Big Al, he's getting ready, Mr. Leo is as well. Ferrari Pro on his final flying lap attempt is up by 0.04 of a second to the first sector. Exiting turn 8 now, heading through this flat out part of the lap. Yellows are out as drivers try and find a little bit of space to play with for their final runs. Up towards the middle sector split, what does the clock say? It says he's up still by 27 thousandths. Tidy run out of turn 10. He'll make his way down to turn 11. Leo making his way out of turn 2. Al making his way around turn 5, up towards the first sector split. The championship leader is up by a little over 1.5 tenths to the first sector. He's found considerable time. Destiel has spun. Destiel has made a mistake at the exit of turn 4. His qualifying session is done. That is the benchmark to beat. 1 minute 16.911. Ferrari Pro has jumped up to P3 with a 17 flat. Al makes his way out of turn 10, used plenty of curb at the exit there, and heads down towards turn 11. on the brakes, down to 4th gear, hits the apex, uses plenty of curb on the outside as he heads into turn 12. 6th gear, modulating the accelerator, using all of the curb there on the outside of the right-hander. Through turn 13, around turn 14, the final corner on the racetrack, he'll get a little collision! Oh my word! Who was that in the Alpine? A collision, and Big Al's given a 5 grid place penalty. That was Sire Luke. He was on... No, wait, what? Yes, it was Sire Luke. What was that looking at, plebs? That was Sire Luke on the racing line, dawdling about. What on earth was that? Is he in control of his car? Had to have been. He wasn't ghosting. Big Al drove straight into the back of him. I feel Al was thinking, oh, and a huge spin for plebs. He puts it into the wall. And I think Ford's done the same. He has. He's thrown it away at the final corner. Drama at the end of qualifying, and Destiel gets an unexpected pole position. Well, Luke here, I believe, ran out of fuel right at the end of qualifying, and Wogboy's given a 5 grid place penalty. Not that it really matters. He's starting from P12. He's going to drop down to P13. But Luke here ran out of fuel just before the end of qualifying, and his car was driving slowly down the main straightaway, just exiting the final corner. Big Al was coming around the final corner, and Luke didn't get out of the way. I'm not sure if he's in control of his own car or not, but if he was, that's not very smart thinking. Just staying on the racing line while you've got drivers on a flying lap. That has hurt Al tremendously. Destiel takes pole after throwing it away in the dying minutes of qualifying. He gets pole. I'm sure he wasn't expecting that. Leo P2. Al will not start 3rd. He'll start down in 8th, where Sire Luke is. That's the car he crashed into. Ferrari Pro, P4 at the end of qualifying. Spicy P5. Mash, nice recovery. P6. Plebs 7th with a spin. Luke in 8th and probably in trouble. Liddell in 9th. Bate 10th. Darren 11th. Wogboy 12th. And Ford wasn't able to set a lap time. He threw it away at the final corner. It had a spin at turn 14. Ruined his flying lap. What a weird qualifying session. I also find it slightly amusing that we have more people watching than competing. Man, nobody want to race. I mean, eventually there'll come a point where I'll have to race. Oh, you're on new software, Destiel? Ah. Yeah, I've done that as well. Because you don't often think about it. Like, you're in the pit lane, you're getting ready for your final run, you hop out, you're on tyres, and you're like, did I change them? That thought just enters the back of your mind, and you go and check. And sometimes you did. Sometimes your past self made sure you changed it. But sometimes your past self doesn't change it, so you're stuck on old tyres. Yep. Yeah, I've done that before. I've made, on a couple of occasions, where I would just go out into a qualifying session without putting on a setup. Like, maybe I'm away from the controller for a bit, maybe I had to go to the loo before qualifying started. And I'll put the headset on, I'll grab the controller, I'll just go out of the garage, completely forgetting the fact that I hadn't gone into the setups and changed it. I'm like, oh, I have to run default for this. This is not going to be fun. Actually, I did it once here in Melbourne on the old circuit, and I can tell you a default setup around here is awful. It is beyond awful. Oh, I'm sorry to hear, Banana. So that's why you're here. Okay. Good to know. Alright. I don't need telemetry. I need detail. That's not the right one. That's the right one. Huh, interesting. This is what I expected from Elite, but in Elite it was a bit more mixed if I remember correctly. Destiel starting from pole position is on the hard compound tyre. The GeForce Leo in P2 starting on the hards as well. Ferrari Pro P3 doing the same, so is Spicy in P4. His sub-in teammate, Mash Jr., is on the medium compound tyre. That might work in his favour, especially if there's a well-timed safety car. Plebs in P6 on the hards. Sorry, Luke in P7 on mediums. He's the only other driver on the medium tyre. Big Al is probably Big Angry. Is P8 on the hard tyre. Liddell in 9th on the hards as well. So is Bait in P10. Darren 11 in, ironically, P11. GeForce Ford in P12 and Wogboy in P13. All of them on the hard tyre. So we got 11 on the hards, 2 on the mediums. Be interesting to see if those medium runners made the right call when it came to strategy. Just have to wait and see. Like I said at the beginning of this, we had a 13 car field for Elite. And the opening half of the race was kind of what you expect from Melbourne. The second half of the race was a complete drama fest. So, I don't know what to expect here in Melbourne. I've got no clue. It could be quite a dull race. It could be one of the races of the season. There's only one way to find out. There's the predicted pit stop strategy. So for mediums, it's lap 13 to 16. I better write that down so I can remember it. There we go. So I can remember. There we go. Alright, terrible camera angle for the start. It gives us information that everyone's lined up. We're going to ride on board with GeForce Leo for the start of the Grand Prix. 13 car field, less than ideal. We've got a 29 late lap race in front of us and 10 red lights. Wogboys jump to start. We're underway here in Melbourne. It's a nice start from Destil. It's a nice start from GeForce Leo. A mega start from Big Al, who's looking to the inside, heading into turn 1 car. 3 wide action, heading through turn 1, turns to 2 wide, turns into a spin for Luke. He tumbles down to last position. Bags Liddell down to 11th place. 40 up to 9th. Looking around the outside of Bait here at turn 3. Can't get it done. Plebs and Big Al battling for position as they head around turn 4. Up towards the right-hander of turn 5. Al has the inside line. He moves through into P6. A nice overtake right there. But it's Destil who leads. Leo in second. Mash Jr. with a mega start is up to P3. Ferrari Pro down to 4th. Spicy in 5th. Now this midfield pack might get a bit dicey. We'll have to wait and see. Bait is closing in. You don't want to go for a move here at turn 9. Suicide if you go for it. Junior made a mistake. That's at the exit of turn 10. He loses a position. Doesn't lose any more than that though. Al down the inside. Ascend! Contact! They just about get through. Gee whiz, I think Spicy saw him coming, opened up the steering a little bit, made sure there wasn't contact, but Big Al is indeed Big Angry. He is not mucking around. He wants to get through as we head around the final corner and down the main straightaway to complete the opening lap of the race. Wogboy is into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Sire Luke at the back after that spin at turn 1. He's got a ton of work to do. Probably needs a safety car to save his race. Big Al closing in on Spicy. Will there be a send? No. Big Al stays behind. Out of turn 3. Around turn 4. Up towards turn 5. There's really not much Al can do through this section. He might have pace, but the racetrack doesn't lend itself to side-by-side racing through here. You just have to be patient. A little bit of dirt on the left-hand front tyre there. Just a little bit. Wouldn't affect him too much. Not using any battery, just staying in the slipstream, trying to minimise time loss. That's exactly what he's doing. He's keeping up with Spicy. Round turn 9 into turn 10. Oh, you can cut so much there. It's ridiculous. Using some battery now. He wants to have a go. Ascend. He looks. He doesn't go for it. He stays behind. Oh, running wide goes Plebs. Oh, my word. There goes Bait. There goes Ford. Darren is arriving on the scene. Oh, but I think Plebs has gotten control of his car again. There's the predicted pit stop strategy. Once again. Got to remember that pit window. Lap 13 to 16 for the medium compound tyre. So we might be seeing drivers pitting halfway through to change onto their mediums. And have a look at the position change. Ford has made the most out of anybody. Here comes Darren down the inside at turn 3. Gets in front. No contact was made. Darren goes through into 9th place. Big Al still giving Spicy a bit of a headache. Meanwhile, out in front, Destiel, he's got 1 second to GeForce Leo, but it hasn't been any greater than that during these opening few laps. Leo has kept up with the race leader pretty well. Though I imagine, knowing Destiel, he's probably saving battery right now. We'll go and check in a minute. I want to keep an eye on Big Al here, though. Needs a nice exit. Gets a nice exit. What a run. Switching on the battery. Switching on DRS. Spicy defends the inside line. Big Al's going to try and send it around the outside. Can't get it done there, I'm afraid. Parks the bus at the exit. Spicy hangs on to P5. Bit of front nose. Read the views of contact and spins. Goes Ferrari Pro. Out of turn 12. Whoa, almost collides with his teammate there. They get through unscathed. Ferrari Pro now down to 8th position after that spin. Here comes Darren 11 down the inside. He'll get in front. He'll take the position. P8 is his. Luke sets a new fastest lap. A 20.946. Ferrari Pro on the counter attack. Has he got momentum? He has, but he's on the outside for turn 3. Yeah, Darren making sure he covers that line off at the exit. He takes P8 for himself. Oh, big lift though through turn 5. That was a huge lift through there. Big Al still trying to find a way by Spicy. Meanwhile, Destiel has grown his lead to 1.5 seconds. He is indeed controlling this race, doing a pretty tidy job at the front. Through 9, into 10. Oh, Spicy's got a pretty decent run through there, must admit. Got a really tidy run out of turn 10. Big Al way too far behind to do anything right here, right now. But Big Al needs to keep his composure. It's a long race. And he doesn't need to worry about the win per se. He needs to worry about the championship. He's got a huge lead right now. And every point he scores is going to reaffirm himself at the top of the table. It's going to be a tall order for anyone to catch Big Al now at this stage of the championship, considering the gap. Through 1 and 2. DRS open. Not using any battery. That McLaren is pretty quick on the straightaways. Bate has got his wing mirrors full of red right now as GeForce Ford is closing in. Around turn 5. Nice and tidy. You could hear as well, he was avoiding that inside curve at turn 5. He'll use all of the outside curve, but not use too much of the inside curve. Just so then he doesn't get unsettled by it. Oh, Al's dumping the battery. Surely not. Yeah, I didn't think so. He stays right behind Spicy. He wants to get a clean run through turn 10. Can he get it? Yes, he can. Here he comes. DRS open, but again, Spicy's McLaren is ridiculously quick on the straightaways. Al is stuck. Ooh, almost made contact in the middle of turn 11 as Plebs gets by Ferrari Pro. Ferrari Pro fights back. They make contact as they head into turn 12. Up towards turn 13, Plebs gets the nose in front and moves through into P9. But has he cost himself? Does he have DRS down the main straightaway? No, he doesn't. Ferrari Pro does. And probably more critically, he'll have DRS heading up towards turn 3. Speaking of which, down towards turn 3, DRS open, not bothering to use any battery. Al will stay behind. What is it, Banana? I'm assuming that's a question. Darren staying behind. So is Ferrari. Oh, hello. Down the inside goes Bags Liddell. He moves through into 10th. That's probably a fair comment to make. Al probably does have a fair chunk of aero on his car. He has extra downforce for a better qualifying setup. Trying to make your way through the field with higher wings is a really tough thing to do. That's an absolutely true comment. Great point to make. And you can see the effect. Al can get a terrific run out of turn 10, which is great, because you need that momentum to really try and get by. But because he doesn't have that extra straight line speed in the back half of that straight, he can't get by Spicy, no matter what he does. He really needs to rely on one of the two McLarens making a mistake. And that's also a fair point. undercut is probably going to play a huge part in this. And I would not be surprised if Big Al goes for a big undercut. I would not be surprised at all. Here comes Ford to the inside at turn 1 of all places. They're side by side making contact. Bate has run wide. I'm sure he won't be too pleased about that. Ford is through into P6. Bate down to 7. Darren 11 closing in down the inside. 3 contact between the two cars. A less than clean overtake from Darren there at 3, but he moves through into 7th position. Bate getting bullied out there. Poor bugger. Force wide at the exit of turn 1. Force wide at the exit of turn 3. And what did he do? Al's still behind. Can't do anything. He's just stuck. That's Wogboy getting a time penalty. So Al's just stuck right now. He needs to just tick over the laps, get on some fresh tyres and send it. Right now, Junior and Spicy are in a pretty solid position. They look good. They're still out in front, commanding the race. 2.4 seconds is the margin. Nice and comfortable. I want to have a quick look at the battery. Here, look at that, 90% compared to Leo on 27. The battery difference is night and day. Back to Mash, it's 33. Spicy, who's pretty good on ERS and on fuel, is on 40. Big Al on 48. Ford on 11. Darren 11 on 20. Bate on 21. Plevs on 30. He's low on fuel. He's trying to save. Bags Liddell on 28. 14 for Ferrari Pro. Luke on 8. And 85 for Wogboy at the back of the field. So the most out of anybody is Destiel right now, our race leader. He's got a lot of pace. He's able to pull away. Big Al, dear oh dear, that's one thing he can't afford to get, is a time penalty. He now has 3 seconds next to his name. And considering the section he's just come out of, I do believe he got that at turn 7. On the left-hand corner, exiting turn 6. It's very easy to cut a lot through there, or run wide through turn 6 and then cut a lot through turn 7. So that's probably how he got his final warning. But now he has 3 seconds next to his name. That is going to hurt him in the long run. Tyres, no one's made any tyre changes just yet. We're getting close to the pit window though. Imagine in about 5 laps time we'll start to see drivers pit in, maybe even a little bit earlier. We'll have to wait and see. Bags Liddell gets by Players. What's happened to Players? He's lost another place to Ferrari Pro. Here comes his teammate as well, so Plev's in a bit of trouble as he heads down the main straightaway. No obvious damage on the Alpine, but yeah, Bags and Ferrari Pro move straight on through. Not a great run through turn 2 either for Plevs. Had to use a lot of the inside curb. Luke closing in, not by enough to try and get by his teammate. Again, Al is close. Look at him. He's within touching distance of that rear diffuser. Here comes Al. Oh, contact. As Sly Luke gets a 3-second time penalty. Al got a tremendous run through turn 7. Just unfortunate he had nowhere to go. Kind of top speed. 315, 316, 313. It's a 3 kph difference. Yeah. Oh, Mash! Another contact between the McLarens, and Al is sent into the wall. The championship leader is out of the Australian Grand Prix. Oh my goodness! And the person who survives is Mash. He's the one who survives. He lost it coming out of turn 10. He was about to spin. He got on the brakes. Plebs gets a time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. He'll have to serve that, by the way. He has to make a pit stop at some point. So that's going to hurt him a little bit. But yeah, Mash nearly lost it completely at turn 10. He got on the brakes to slow the car down to try and gather control. But Spicy was coming out of turn 10 like a bat out of hell. He couldn't react fast enough to what Mash was doing. And he ended up rear-ending Mash, and Al got collected in it as well. I don't think you can penalise any of that. I think it's just one big racing incident. Mash was doing everything he could to try and save the car after that little mistake. Spicy couldn't react quick enough, and there was no way in hell Big Al could react quick enough either. A huge blow, a safety car deployed, and a massive change to the race. How about that? Oh, it was looking exciting between those three as well. It was such a dynamic battle. This is a huge blow for Al. Would have extended his lead in the championship by some margin. But he's out. He will score a grand total of nothing in this Australian Grand Prix. In fact, I'll quickly check the championship table. That might be his first retirement of the season. I'll double check. I know he might have missed a race or two, maybe. Memory doesn't serve me terrifically well. And I don't think I've ever seen Al crash in this championship so far. Let's have a look. 4th, 12th, 4th, 3rd, 1st, 4th, 3rd, 1st. Yeah, this is his first retirement. This is his worst finish after his disconnect at Barcelona, where he could have won that race. Probably should have won that race, actually. He has finished inside the top 4 in every other event other than Spain, including sprint races. Bate goes in. Bate is in pit lane. Front wing change. So maybe he's hit something. Maybe he wanted a front wing change earlier but didn't get it. I'm not sure, but he's down to 11th. That's huge for Al. That's huge for Spicy as well. He's 5th in the Drivers' Championship. But honestly, you can't really get too mad at anyone. I certainly wouldn't. Think they would recognise that Mash made a mistake. He was trying to rectify that mistake, and yeah, unfortunately, we just had an accident from it. So, alright, well, this simplifies the race somewhat. Everyone who's made a pit stop, they're able to go to the end now, I think. It'll be a bit of a stretch on the mediums, but I do think they'll make it. The pit window to get off the mediums was between lap 13 to 16, so the game believes it can do 16 laps. We'll get back on the green flag running at lap 12. I mean, they'll have to do 18 laps on the tyre. That's longer than what the game suggests, but I do believe it's doable. And if we have another safety car, well, it changes it up again as Mash has disconnected. Hopefully he's able to rejoin as quickly as possible. Yeah, okay. Nice to have somebody else's opinion about the tyre situation. Yeah. Thanks for that, ACW. I had a feeling they probably would, considering you could already do half the race on the mediums anyway. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a very fair point. I completely forgot that. Alright. See the tyres. Destiel, he's taken off, has he? Yeah, he's gone. He's gone ski. He's gone real early. He's got a second already, 1.1. He's caught Leo napping. He caught me napping. And away he goes. We're back on the green flag conditions. Mash Jr. has rejoined. It's lap 12 of 29 here at Albert Park. What a terrific restart that was. Yellow's out. That's Bate. At the final corner. Whatever happened to him? Maybe he spun. Maybe he got held up by the AI. I don't know. Because obviously you're not allowed to pass before the control line. So maybe the AI slowed down quite a lot at the exit of the final corner. And it prevented Bate from actually keeping up with the leaders. Maybe. It's just a theory. Estiel. Great restart. Certainly caught me napping. Usually I'm on top of that sort of stuff. From a commentating point of view, Estiel just went. Ferrari Pro on the back of Bags Liddell. You have to say the Aston Martins look pretty good right now. P4, P5. Looking tidy. As we head up towards turn 11. Ferrari Pro closing in. Looks, but no commitment to the inside there. Ferrari Pro stays behind in P6. Nice little aerial shot here, bird's eye view down at the Albert Park racetrack. Bit wide there from Darren. His teammate closes in. Not by enough though to attack, I believe. Ferrari Pro right on the back of Bags Liddell. Dumping the battery, as you can see. Looks, but again, no dive bomb. Just stays behind. Plevs hovering behind in P7, watching the show. Sire Luke in P8. We make our way through turn 4. Up towards turn 5. There goes Darren. Into the wall at the exit of 4. Has he broken his front wing? He has. He's missing an end plate. Oh, dearie me. I mentioned it was looking good for Aston. Well, it's taken a significant blow with that mistake. It's a simple one, but it's one I think a lot of us have done. Just losing it on the outside curb. Here, one of the many treacherous corners of the Albert Park Street Circuit. Oh, a bit wide there for Liddell. Ferrari Pro closes in. Will he go for the move? He's looking to the inside here at turn 11, but again, doesn't fully commit to it. He stays behind the Aston Martin. Plevs in the background, lurking, waiting for his moment to try and strike. Meanwhile, the two G-Force compatriots, P2 and P3, will probably battle each other in a few moments' time. Destiel is driving away as DRS is now enabled. The gap now 2.1 seconds. Ferrari Pro close, but not close enough. Sire Luke holding on to P7 right now. Darren 11 pits in, probably for another set of mediums. Oh, he just retires from the session. Okay, cool. Guaranteed points finish. He decides to give up. So, Mesh Jr. 7/10 behind. Won't be able to do much here. G-Force Leo gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Well, dearie me. Can't afford that. Especially when you're in a position to fight for a podium place. Can't afford that. And he and Ford are battling in the Drivers' Championship. They're pretty close to one another. Bags under pressure as Ferrari Pro tries to go around the outside. Can't get it done. Through turn 10. Bags took it pretty well, but Ferrari Pro has DRS. Looks to the inside. They almost make contact. Liddell tries to fight around the long way. Ward's tight. They get through though. Nice overtake. Ferrari Pro into 4th. Through the final 2 corners. Turns 13 and 14. Back onto the main straight. Meanwhile, the battle for P2 starting to intensify as Ford is closing in. Won't go for a move at turn 1. They'll make their way through turn 2, up towards 3. DRS open as Ferrari Pro gets a time penalty. Around the outside goes Ford. Leo covers the inside line. They're side by side on the exit. Ford has the inside line for 4. They almost make contact. They get through the curve. Around turn 5, Leo holds on to P2, but only just hangs on to P2. Through turn 6, round turn 7, up towards turn 8. Ford buried in the slipstream as Junior gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Fordy closing in, but you can't go for a move here. Not at turn 9, just can't get it done. Through this corner, through 10. DRS opened, heading towards turn 11. Ford closing in, Plevs passing Bags. Bags made a mistake, that's why. Not the best of rejoins I've seen. As Bags tumbles down to 8th position after that spin at turn 10. G-Force Ford now half a second behind. Leo's not just going to give away P2 willy-nilly. He's going to try and hang on to this. Give Ford a run for his money. Round turn 1 into 2. DRS open as they head down towards turn 3. Down the inside goes Ford, dive bombing it into the right-hander. Oh, I reckon they might have made contact. Ford tries to go around the outside. At turn 4, he'll have the inside line at 5. And there we go. He makes his way through into 2nd. The exact same move Leo pulled off on the previous lap. Just rolls reversed on lap 16. And Ford moves through into 2nd. But after all that squabbling, the gap is now 4.2 seconds between Destiel and G-Force Ford. This is Destiel's race to win, it seems. No one It's going to be rivaling the Haas. Leo closing in, not by enough. Stay behind. Luke under a bit of pressure as Wogboy is flying. Looks, but no commitment to the inside line there at turn 11. He'll stay behind the Alpine. Both drivers have time penalties as well. Both have 3 seconds, so do Leo and Ferrari Pro Mesh Jr. down in 10th, has 6 seconds next to his name. There's the midfield pack. And to think the midfield consists of P3, 4, 5 and 6. Yeah, a bit odd. But that's the circumstances we're under right now. Leo, Ford, Ferrari Pro, not too far behind now. Seems that this battle's going to intensify even more. A 4-car fight for second position. So long as Plebs can get within a second. He's just outside of it. He's right on the bubble. He's out of battery, he's out of juice. And he just misses out by literally a tenth. Not much. Ferrari Pro now truly in this. Leo losing a little bit of time to G-Force 4. The gap's increasing to 1 second between P2 and P3. It seems that Leo's troubles with Ferrari aren't over as Mash makes a mistake at turn 10. No damage on his car. Keeps going. Now I wonder as well, I failed to mention this earlier, but maybe after Mash's incident where Spicy hit the back of him in the diffuser, he might have diffuser damage or maybe even floor damage that might be affecting his pace. We've got to keep that in mind as well with Mash right now. He might have a properly damaged race car. Luke still hanging on to P6 right now. Wogboy just hovering behind. As Ford now gets a time penalty. So Ford, Leo and Ferrari Pro now all have 3-second time penalties. It's even game between these three. Ford will be doing everything he can to try and pull away from Leo. Leo will be doing everything he can to keep up with him now. And he's got more incentive too. They're now on even penalties right now. Both on 3 seconds. Ferrari Pro starting to lose touch with the two in front. Needs to drive real hard to try and keep up with those two. As Bags Liddell now gets a time penalty. The penalties are flooding in here in Melbourne. They're starting to pile up, and if we have another safety car, those penalties are going to play a huge part in determining who finishes where. 40 has not driven away from Leo. Yellow's out. That is Bags Liddell at the final corner. No damage. You can actually see the tyre marks on the grass just briefly. So lost control at the exit of turn 13, spun onto the grass. Now down in 9th position, well away from just about anybody. 3-car fight is still ongoing. The battle between Luke and Wogboy is ongoing as well. Wogboy's made no real attempts to try and attack Luke though. He's just maintained 7th place throughout this race. Through turn 9, Ford, Leo, Ferrari Pro. Half a second separating these two. Leo switched on right now. He's quick, he's got pace. Giving Ford a run for his money through turn 11 up towards turn 12. Getting a nice aerial shot. Wish we had this shot more often. Just absolutely lovely. Making our way around the final corner now. Onto the main straight. The gap is half a second. 9/10 is now the gap between Ferrari Pro and Leo. So Ferrari Pro has done a pretty tidy job keeping up with the top two. He has got pace in that car. Just the two he's trying to catch up to, they're pretty quick. I'm sure he's trying absolutely everything. He's throwing the whole kitchen sink at it to try and keep up with those two. Maybe try and potentially battle for a podium spot. Wog Boy. Still pressuring Luke, but yeah, not really doing it. Yellows! Leo's out! Leo is out of the race! He's crashed out! And we have another safety car! Another safety car in this race! He's thrown it into the barrier at the exit of turn 7. He's lost control through turn 6 and piled it into the Emirates barrier on the inside of the racetrack. We are down to 9. How about that? The race takes another turn, and I reckon everyone... Oh, Destiel's pitting. Yeah, I was going to say, everybody should be pitting right now. Yeah, Ferrari Pro's in, Plebs is in. Everyone has to box. Everyone has to box. Tyres is the main priority. You've only got 9 cars left. You got to box. And we still got a long way to go. You got to box. There is 0 point staying out. Oh, and we got a bit of a mix-up with tyres too. We got soft runners, we got medium runners. If I was in this position, honestly, if I was in this position, I would pick softs. I would pick softs. That might not be the right call, but I just would want the softest tyres available on the car. Mash has got 9 lap old mediums bolted on the car. I would just want the softest tyres possible. But then again, with the laps remaining, that might not be the right call. And besides, tyre temperature is a really important detail you have to worry about on the soft tyre. If you push too hard while the tyres are well worn, well, the tyre temperatures are going to spike up. That could be a possibility. But neither Plebs nor Ferrari Pro have fresh softs available to them. I don't know. There could be a tyre wear factor in the back of this. The softs are going to have extreme pace for what? 3 laps at the most? And then the pace will even out? Like if this was F1 2021 or any other F1 game, it would be softs all the way. Hop onto the soft tyre and send it. But here, because of how quickly the tyre wears out, plus the higher tyre temperatures that you have to deal with, it really pushes people away from using the soft tyre. So we'll see who makes the right call. Run through the order quickly. Destiel's our race leader. He's got this race in the bag. Should remain unchallenged from here to the checkered flag. The only person I think who can undo Destiel's race, probably G-Force Ford if these two get into a tangle, or Destiel himself making a mistake. That's about it. Plebs on mediums won't have the outright pace to battle Destiel and Ford on the restart, but maybe towards the end the tyres will come good. Ferrari Pro with a time penalty next to his name. He's on medium, so is Wogboy in Wogboy is on softs in P5. Luke is on medium tyres like Ferrari Pro. Bate is on mediums. Liddell is on softs. Max Jr. is back on the medium tyre. Interesting. So we've got to remember, Destiel, Ford, Wogboy and Bags Liddell. They're the ones on the soft tyre. Everyone else is on the mediums right now. You can see with the penalties as well, these are going to play a decent effect towards the end of the race. Only 3 drivers don't have a time penalty right now. That's the race leader, Plebs in 3rd, and Bate in 7th. All of them could gain massively thanks to the time penalty situation. It's all about timing. It's all about speed. Safety car in this lap. Field bunches up. Now Destiel went pretty early last time around. Still on this camera. Come on, game. Give me a better angle. Thank you. Alright. The restart that decides everything. Let's see what happens next. The final stage of this Australian Grand Prix. When they cross the line, It'll be lap 23. It'll be 7 laps to go until the checkered flag. Destiel takes off around the penultimate corner, then around the final turn. He'll head down the main straight and up towards the line. Destiel will complete lap 22, begin lap 23. We have got 7 laps to go. The gap between the top two, 5.5 tenths of a second. So not as good as last time, but still pretty decent restart. Plebs in P3, already 1.1 seconds behind. Ferrari Pro in 4th, with Wogboy closing in behind on the soft tyre. Liddell on the back of Bate. Now, Bate shouldn't worry about Liddell too much. He's got pace right now. Could probably try and let him through. Let Bags be a bulldozer of sorts. Try and pierce his way through this mid-pack who are on the medium tyre. Through turn 6, through turn 7. Up towards turn 8. What will Liddell do? Dumping battery. He's got momentum. He looks. Bate covers. Up towards turn 9. Whoa, that got a bit dicey. Through turn 10. Again, dumping the battery. Following the AlphaTauri. Down towards turn 11. Ascend, perhaps? Not quite. Doesn't go for the move at turn 11. Destiel gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh, the mistake, folks. There it is. An opportunity, perhaps, for Ford. A slim one, but a chance. Nonetheless, as Bags Liddell gets a time penalty. 3 seconds next to his name. So only 2 cars left with no time penalty. Plebs in P3, 2.6 seconds is the gap. He's not going to have pace right now, but maybe, just maybe, those tyres come good at the end of the race. There's a chance. An even slimmer chance compared to G-Force Ford. A chance to win this race. He needs to drive pretty well in these final few laps of this Grand Prix. He needs to be spot on. But he's got a fuel issue. He is low, he's even. Should be okay with fuel, I think. He is dead even on fuel. He should be fine, I think. We'll have to wait and see. Wogboy. Right behind Ferrari Pro. Can he do anything here? Not quite. Down towards turn 11. Looks. No move. Stays behind. Bate and Bags battling for P7 on track. Nash Jr. just hovering behind, enjoying the show. Wogboy, can he do anything from here? Not getting the speed out of the final corner to try and do anything. Just stuck behind Ferrari Pro for now. Ferrari Pro not making any huge gains on Plebs either. But with DRS enabled, I'm sure that's going to change. Ford doing everything he can to stay within a second of Destiel. Destiel's got plenty of battery life though. 64% next to his name compared to 33 on Ford's car. But Ford, he'll give it everything. Oh, he'll give it too much. A 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He now has 6 seconds next to his name. Oh my word. He had a shot, he went for it, he went too far. He not only lost a chance for a race win, he might lose second. Through turns 9 and 10. Down towards turn 11. Gap of 5.5 tenths between Plebs and Ferrari Pro. A gap of 4 seconds between Ford and Plebs. His chance of a race win steadily dissipating away. But there's a really big chance of a podium here. All he needs to do is keep it clean and not make any mistakes. He's doing that right now. Down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Half a second separating the top two. Ford has pace, but those penalties are going to hold him back. Bate gets by Liddell. No, sorry, Liddell gets by Bate. See Bags now driving away. Those 6 seconds are ultimately going to hold him back somewhat. Big understeer through turn 3. Then through turn 4. And around turn 5. Well, grid jokes, there's one simple reason. We start later. And that's because of Wogboy as well. Log Boy is always a little bit late, so we tend to start about 5 to 10 minutes later. Around turn 10, down towards turn 11. Ford's not closing in by enough. Ferrari Pro closing in on Plebs, down towards 11. Not by enough, though, to get by here at the right-hander. Around turn 12. Up towards turn 13, the penultimate corner. Ferrari Pro applying pressure. There's not much he can do. Plebs has got some good pace right now, and he's still just within reach, and that helps. Oh, and that helps even more. Ford spins a perfect pirouette. Great style, but unfortunately not so great for his race. He now has 9 seconds next to his name, and he's now only 7/10 in front of Plebs in P3. Oh, and Luke gets by Logboy, who spins as well. This time at the exit of turn 4. He plummets down to 9th place. There's still ongoing drama in this Grand Prix. 40 with the spin. Logboy with the spin. Who's next? As we head into turn 9. Then the right of turn 10. Clobbering over the curbs there, touring car style. DRS open. Plebs is closing in. He doesn't need to battle though. He can just keep it calm, keep it steady. Second is his. And what was looking like a guaranteed podium for Ford is steadily just going away. Unless something dramatic happens from here to the checkered flag, Ford is going to well and truly tumble down the order. Down towards turn 1. 2 laps to go here at Albert Park. Through turn 2. Using some battery, DRS open. Down towards 3. Plebs closing in, not going for a move though. He stays behind. Bate closing in on Liddell, not by enough. Mash Jr. is in this now. He's a shot of overtaking Bags. Liddell, if he can get by Bate, or maybe Bate can get by Bags, then Mash can have a go at Bags. Full position on track. Ferrari, Alpine. Ferrari, Alpine. That's the order. P2, 3, 4, and 5. Plebs closing in. Doesn't need to go for a move though. Bate gets by Bags. Moves through just before turn 9. Nice move there. Bags gets DRS though to try and counter. Down towards turn 11. Plebs right on the back of Ford. Bate defending from Bags. Contact! Law! And here comes Mash Jr. round the outside at turn 12 to take P7. Oh, but runs wide. And through goes Bags to take back the position he lost. It's the last lap for the race leader. It's the last lap for this group of 4. If only time penalties weren't a thing. This would have been an epic duel between these 4 guys. 2 teams. 4 high-quality drivers going at it. Would have been something to watch, but penalties are ultimately going to dictate who finishes where, as Wogboy gets another time penalty. Out of turn 3, heading around turn 4. Up towards 5 now. You can see Plebs is low. Is he under? No. He's just over, I do believe. Yes, he is. 0.1 over, so he's to the good. Side Luke now with another 3-second time penalty. He has 6 seconds next to his name. Plebs wants this. He wants the position on track. Luke gets by Ferrari Pro. Round the outside. Here comes Luke to the inside at turn 9. You're joking. He moves through into second. If only those 6 seconds worth of penalties weren't a thing. Back through goes G-Force Ford, trying to attack down the inside at turn 11. Oh, it's tight. Contact. A bit of a moment. A huge moment for Ford. He spins again. Oh, and Ferrari Pro had a half moment as well. He's vulnerable to Bate now as Destiel crosses the line to take a dominant win here at Albert Park. Luke will come home in second. He will not stay there though, and I have a feeling we're going to have Bate on the podium. We will. Bate finishes in third. Ferrari Pro finishes in 4th, Luke 5th, Mash finishes in 6th, Bags 7th, Logboy 8th, and Ford. That moment, that's right, ACW, that moment cost Ferrari Pro. He got balked out because of 40 spin. Deary me. What a weird race we've just had. One of the weirdest I think I've ever seen. Bate given driver of the day for his performance. Deservedly so. Kept at penalty 3. And he's been rewarded as such for his effort. Speaking about awarded for their effort, what a mega one from Destil. Put it on pole position with a dramatic end to qualifying. Led every lap of the Grand Prix. Looked untouchable, was untouchable. Takes the win here in Melbourne. P2 goes to Plebs. P3 to Bate for AlphaTauri. We almost have twice as many people watching as we had finished. How about that? Destil takes the win of the Australian Grand Prix. Plebs comes home in 2nd place. Bate, from starting 10th, finishes 3rd, thanks to a penalty-free effort. F1 Ferrari Pro P4, Cy Luke in 5th, Ash Jr. 6th, followed by Bags Liddell, GeForce Wogboy, GeForce Ford, our final finisher. GeForce Leo retired from the race. A crash at turn 7. Darren 11 retired in the pit lane. Big Al and Spicy involved with an incident with Mash Jr. One of the biggest shunts I've seen this season in Pacific Tier 1 at the exit of turn 10. Another weird, crazy, upside-down race here in Melbourne. We had this in Pacific Elite. We had it again in Pacific Tier 1. Leaves me curious of what I'm going to see in the Americas Series tomorrow. Hopefully that's also a lot of fun. Usually Americas Series is. Well, I'll invite Plebs in. I don't think Bate has a PlayStation account, so I can't invite him. I'll invite Plebs in. We'll have a nice long chat about what what just happened during this Grand Prix, because I have no idea. That was something. I'll be back in a few moments. Is he online? He is not online. Scroll. Need to find P. It's about here. K. Elemento. P. Q. R. I went past it. That one. If he wants to chat, he wants to chat. If he doesn't want to chat, he doesn't want to chat. We'll do a quick shout out to top 3 though. Bate. Congrats, brother. Kept it out of trouble, and man, it worked. It really did work out for you. I mean, that was huge. Keeping a penalty 3, it always gives rewards, especially if there's no safety car. If they are safety car periods during the race. Sometimes with no safety car periods going, penalty 3 doesn't often give out rewards. But yeah, when the safety cars come out, no penalties can have a huge boost in determining where you finish. So congrats on the P3. Absolutely top-notch performance. But also to our race winner. This way it's Haas. Destil, mega effort at the front. Controlled the race through and through from start to finish. It was just a clean, clinical, well-done drive. Again, a bit lucky with the pole position. With whatever happened with Sire Luke and Big Al right at the end of qualifying, because Al was on a quick lap. But yeah, something happened between those two, resulted in a big shunt. And unfortunately for Al, that was only going to be the first big shunt of the race. He would have another one. But no, mega effort, Destil. Awesome effort. well and truly deserve the race win here in Melbourne. I wonder if I will get Plebs. Has he messaged me at all? Yeah, no, maybe. Yeah, you can join if you want. If you don't want. If you want. If you don't want. I don't mind. If he doesn't want to. Long-winded message. It's completely up to him. No, Plebs put together a pretty solid, very similar with Bait. Just kept it clean, and I think that's the most important thing when you have a really dramatic race full of safety cars and full of incidents. If you keep a penalty 3, you always give yourself a shot. Plebs had a shot. Unfortunately, the top 2 were really quick on the soft tyres, but then eventually Ford, well, kind of just screwed up. I think it's the politest way of putting it. Few spins, penalties, and then he balked his own teammate. Yeah, just not the end that Ferrari Pro was looking for. Not the end that Ferrari as a group was looking for. It was looking like big points, and now, not big points. 4th and 9th at the end of the day for the team in red. In fact, who would be the team that gained the most amount of points out of this one? Probably Haas with Destiel's win, I'd say. And maybe Alpine, but of course there's a big question mark with what happened with Luke in qualifying, whether that will give a time penalty or whether we might get a disqualification or something like that. 30 seconds, alright. Well, there he is.
Hello. How you going?
Yeah, confused, but yeah. That was a race.
I'm a bit confused too.
Mate,
are we confused about the same thing?
Yeah, just what was this whole race? Like, we had this epic last lap battle that ultimately meant nothing because of the time penalties. We had all these duels, we had drivers spinning out, we had a massive shunt at turn 10. Like, and we had whatever happened in qualifying to Al. He and Luke came to... Yeah, you'll see it on stream. It's quite a doozy. He and Luke came together at the final corner.
Wasn't it Wild Boy? Or was it?
No, it was Luke.
No? Oh, okay. Wild Boy got a grid penalty too, I saw. Was that something different?
Don't know. Oh, wait. He got a illegal blocking penalty because Luke's car was out of fuel and then Wild Boy pulled up behind it.
Right.
Well, Wild Boy's AI pulled up behind it after the second flag flew. And that gave him a 5... Well, it made him go from 12 to 13. So not really a 5 grid place penalty, but a penalty nonetheless. So
yeah, that's
a game glitch.
Are we on stream?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
But no, you must be pretty happy with a P2 after all of that.
Well, to be honest, I have no idea how, to be honest.
You survived.
Yeah, just survived. I can't believe how crazy the races at Australia have been. Even with the small grids, like I can only imagine with a full grid, it would be chaos.
Yep.
It's I think it's the track now that causes the most drama. If going off the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like the new layout, just like, yeah.
Nasty curbs, slippery surface, fast corners, has it all. And yeah, it certainly has created drama in both Pacific Elite and in Pacific Tier 1 this season. It's been nuts. But, dry qualifying session for you this time around compared to Sunday. Bit nicer?
I quite enjoyed the wet one on Sunday, to be honest. But yeah, dry's fine. I see where you are pace-wise against everyone else, and yeah, I was pretty happy with. Well, first and second run were good, and then last run I was up by a 10.5, so I wasn't improving too much. I think I would have moved up 1 place maybe and got like a 17.1 or 2. Yeah, I think that would have been only good for 1 more place, so it didn't matter too much. But yeah, I was happy with that, and I mean, I guess first of all, it's a bit disappointing only having 13 on the grid this week for both series. So yeah, I know some drivers have a legitimate excuse, but yeah, some are just taking the piss at this point. So yeah, probably won't get a seat in future. But yeah, that's why we have driver requirements, so we can keep our stuff as full as possible. So yeah, that's been a bit disappointing. But let's hope after the break and maybe people will be a bit more rejuvenated and some people will be back. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's been a pretty good season so far, I think anyway. So yeah, obviously had our challenges with crossplay and whatnot, but I think we're in a place where we can only do what we can do and control what we can control, and yeah, I think it's just about drivers showing their commitment from now on, to be honest. So let's hope that we see that. And yeah, I mean, it's still a good race for 13 people. And like Sunday as well, like surprised to get so many safety cars with only 13 people. Like it's a bit mental. I don't know what happened with Big Al and Spicy, but coming through. Well, maybe you can talk through it. But yeah, coming through turn 10, neither of them ghosted, so we're like all of us had to like dodge all the cars.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't look ghosted anyway. I'll like look back again, but yeah, like I didn't want to hit them. That's for sure. So yeah, you can tell us what happened there.
It was probably a good thing that you didn't hit them, because it was a doozy of an accident. So Mash Jr. was leading that trio of himself, Spicy, and Big Al in that order, and they're making their way out of turn 10, and Mash loses it just after the corner exit, but he has enough control that he hits the brakes to try and straighten the car out to make sure he doesn't spin. The problem was Spicy was so close behind, he couldn't react quick enough to what Mash was doing, and just slammed into the back of it. And it was the same story with Big Al, and they hit each other hard enough that they took each other out of the race.
Oh goodness, yeah, okay.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, I don't think you can blame anyone, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to Bait just after the race, and he said that Big Al was basically his race engineer after that, and he did well. He got a podium. What we were saying before the race was basically keep out of trouble, don't get penalties, and you can probably get a top 5 at least. So,
well, you certainly did.
True again. Yeah, but yeah, Big Al was out of position with that grid penalty for sure. So he would have probably been up at the front based on the qualifying pace.
Well, dude was big angry at the start. He was going for it.
He was, wasn't he? I kind of just let him through because I was like, yeah, I'm not really gonna hold you up too long.
He was attacking Spicy like a rabid dog, but he couldn't get by because he wasn't quick enough down the straights. Carried too much aero by comparison, and yeah, he just couldn't move through. Way quicker through the corners, but down the straights where it matters to try and pass, couldn't do it. So.
Yeah.
But your race seemed pretty tidy for the most part.
I thought, yeah, well, towards the end for sure. I think I got into a rhythm a bit more, but yeah, my first stint was pretty untidy, if I'm honest. Like I got 2 warnings pretty early on, so I was like racing on 2 warnings most of the race, and I made 2 big mistakes. One into turn 12, the braking zone at the back there into the right-hander. I think I just broke too late behind someone. I'd like just missed the braking point. I was like locked up and went straight. I think I gave up 3 positions. And then a few laps later I basically did the same thing, but at the second last corner, I don't know what that one's called. What is it? 12, 13, is it 14?
13.
15? Yeah. I just nicked the grass and it like insta-locked me, and I lost another 2 positions. So I went from like 6th back to 10th or 11th in a few laps. So yeah, I had a bit of a shocker. But then I don't know, I kind of regrouped it with the safety car and had better pace then, but couldn't keep up with Ferrari Pro. And the second safety car, yeah, just hit it for another set of mediums, had no pens. And yeah, somehow I was 3rd in the queue when the safety car came out. I jumped Ferrari Pro in the pits because he had a double stack with Bailey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was net P2, under that last safety car, and I was like, well, if I can stay within 3 seconds, I'll have that. But I didn't look good. And then Bailey got 6 seconds, and then he spun.
And then he spun.
That was that.
The exact moment he got 6, he spun.
Yeah.
No,
and then I don't really know what happened in the last. Yeah, I don't know what happened in the last 2 laps. Like I thought, yeah, his tyres would probably be pretty hot, but then he seemed to slow right down. I'm like, well, surely they're not that dead, the tyres. So yeah, it seemed like he was playing. There's some gamesmanship there to bring Ferrari Pro into it, but he's like Ferrari Pro had 3 seconds, and I just had to make sure I didn't get that last warning, and that was it. And then Luke came from nowhere and overtook everyone.
Yeah, didn't he?
Into turn 9, I was like, where'd you come from? So yeah,
went down the inside of all places at turn 9, and he made it stick. Yeah, he did. Props for that.
Yeah, I think fair play to Bailey. I think Bailey backed out once he realised like we were both passing. But I don't know if we were 4. We were at least 3 wide.
You were 3. You were definitely 3 wide.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I was pretty hairy. I'm like, well, like any wrong move here, and I pick up that last warning, and I lose it. So.
If that battle had no penalties, that would have been so freaking awesome to watch.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Bailey just didn't keep racing. He might have got a better finishing position, but oh well.
Well, the dude ended up spinning again at turn 11 on the last lap, and sort of balked his own teammate as a result, and pushed him down. Well, pushed him off the podium, essentially. They got promoted up to P3 because of that, so...
just Ferrari things then, I guess.
Yeah, Ferrari master strategy, as always, so...
Yeah. I won't say it's karma or anything, but, Ferrari things.
Ferrari things.
Oh, he's not having a good couple of weeks, Bailey. Oh, well.
He'll recuperate, eventually.
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much it. It was a bit crazy.
Yep.
Probably would have been good to watch. I'm probably going to go watch back the last couple of laps. So.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was definitely nuts at several stages of that race. And nuts through qualifying, particularly the end, with what happened there. But, this will be your final race this week? Or will we have endurance?
Yeah. It is. No, endurance is off. So yeah, it's break week for everything. So no endurance this week, no Sunday or Tuesday this week and next week. So yeah, and that's for Pacific. Everyone else, so European leagues and Americas, they still race, but then they have Easter off, whereas we go back racing on Easter. So hopefully that's okay, and most people can still race. But
fair enough.
Fingers crossed. So yeah, we kind of have alternating break weeks because of the Grand Prix.
All good. Just means I've got to remember to get prepared for America's Series on...
yes, you will have America's Series on
Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yeah.
Got my dates confused.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll remind you.
I'll remember. It'll be all good. But I asked you it last night. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be racing at Silverstone. And well, said you were kind of looking forward to it. You knew that it was going to be a decent racetrack.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we're going to see that kind of racing quality in Tier 1?
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone will be really close. Just like tonight, the last couple of weeks has been really close quality, and through the race. Sorry. So yeah, penalties again probably play a part. I'm guessing maybe not as much as tonight, but can certainly pick up the warnings at Silverstone. But yeah, the racing's really good. So yeah, see what happens. I know Ryan's still away until France, and he's broken his rig apparently. So we'll see him back in France. But yeah, everyone else will be. Well, I hope everyone else is back for Silverstone. That'd be really good. Yeah, who won there last season? I can't recall. It was either Bailey or Zach,
would either Bailey or Biden. So toss a coin, you'd be right or wrong.
I think it would have been Bailey. Was it a sprint round last season? Or was that the season?
I don't think it was a sprint.
Maybe the one before.
I'd have to double check.
6. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm sure it'll be good. times there will be interesting. Like, I think everyone will probably be within 5-6 tenths. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole grid's within 5-6 tenths there, because yeah, well, as I was saying on Sunday, it's pretty like there's not a lot of low speed corners, and it doesn't like it's quite an easy track, so there's not a huge. The skill gap's not as big as at some tracks. So field spread is probably not going to be that big, which means racing will be close as well. So you'll be very entertained.
I'll be flat out more than likely next round. So
yeah.
I've got to get ready and make full use of the break week, I suppose. I wasn't expected to be flat out this race. I was pretty damn close to it though, so it was a very bonkers, crazy race, just like it was in Elite. So, but
yeah,
enjoy your break,
Thank you,
Race Spec. Enjoy the Grand Prix down in Melbourne as well.
I will. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna go pack after this, so get my shit together. Yeah, well done to Destiel as well. I haven't mentioned, but yeah, well done on the win, and Bait for his first podium as well. Is that Destiel's first win? No, I think he's won before.
I'm reasonably certain he's won before.
Yeah.
I'd have to actually double check that. Now that you put that thought into my head.
Yeah.
He's surely won before. He's had the pace to win before.
Yeah, I haven't got my phone on me, otherwise I'll check it, yeah.
I'll check it now.
Maybe he won. Did he win in Portugal?
He won Portugal. Yes, this is his second race win of the season after Portugal. Cool. That's right. Yeah. I knew he won at least once. Just couldn't think of it.
Yeah. So yeah, GG to him and Bait as well. Cool.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Race Spec, and congratulations on your P2 finish for the Australian Grand Prix. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
And a final congrats to Bait for finishing third, and well done to Destiel for getting your second win of the season. A properly dominant performance at the front of the field. But I think, folks, with everything said and done, it's now time for us to end the stream. I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for round 10 of the championship at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit for the British Grand Prix. Until then, it's goodbye.